Audio Jungle.
Alright, so it's 31 minutes prior to the I welcome you to another exciting edition of From the Newspaper, streaming live from the premises of the Estes Hotel, Akbete, Ibadan. Good morning to you all. We're listening to AIM 97.3 FM, where we study the agenda and project the truth.
Audio Jungle.
Good morning to you all. Listening to him 97.3 FM, where we study the agenda and project the truth. And don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at him 97.3 FM. And as you're watching us, do well to like, comment, and share. And moreover, don't forget this program is in form of 3 segments. The first segment is the weather forecast report of 3 major cities in Nigeria: the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the commercial city of Lagos, and the vibrant city of Ibadan. Where the second segment on the show is the headlines make round of Nigerian newspaper. And as usual, let's bring 4 newspaper to you every morning: the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, and Nigerian Tribune. Where the last segment on the show is the details to the headlines. My name is Shakiro Akinyemi. So moving on to the first segment on the show, which is the weather forecast report. And the first I'll bring on is the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. At 10 a.m. in Abuja this morning is mostly cloudy with 26 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. is intermittent clouds with 28 degrees Celsius. And at 12 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 29 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. is partly sunny with 30 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. is partly sunny with 30 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is partly sunny with 31 degrees Celsius. And at 4 p.m. is partly sunny with 30 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. is partly sunny with 29 degrees Celsius. And at 6 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 28 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 26 degrees Celsius. And at 8 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 25 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 24 degrees Celsius. And at 10 p.m. is cloudy with 23 degrees Celsius. And at 11 p.m. is cloudy with 22 degrees Celsius. So moving on to the commercial city of Lagos. At 10 a.m. in Lagos this morning is partly sunny with 27 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. is intermittent clouds with 28 degrees Celsius. And at 12 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 29 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 29 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 29 degrees Celsius. And at 4 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 29 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 28 degrees Celsius. And at 6 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 28 degrees Celsius. Up until 9 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 28 degrees Celsius. And at 8 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 28 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. And at 10 p.m. is cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. Up until 11 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. To the last city on the first segment, which is the vibrant city of Ibadan, where we are streaming live from. And at 10 a.m. in Ibadan this morning is rain with 26 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. is showers with 28 degrees Celsius. And at 12 p.m. is cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. is cloudy with 32 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. is cloudy with 31 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. And at 4 p.m. is cloudy with 31 degrees Celsius. And at 5 p.m. is cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. At 6 p.m. is cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. And at 7 p.m. is cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. At 8 p.m. is cloudy with 25 degrees Celsius. And at 9 p.m. is cloudy with 24 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. is cloudy with 24 degrees Celsius. And at 11 p.m. is cloudy with 24 degrees Celsius.
Audio Jungle.
on to the second segment on the show, which is the headlines making round of Nigerian newspaper. And the first newspaper we're bringing on is the Punch newspaper. The latest story on the Punch newspaper this morning says, petrol sells above 1,000 naira per litre as Tinubu okays 15% import tariff. And page 2 has the details to that story. To that story that says federal government moves to protect Dangote, local refineries from cheap imports. Fuel importers face tighter margin. And page 2 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And above the line of the Punch newspaper this morning says U.S. Defense Soyinka's visas revocation. And page 3 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
FCC NFIU launch crackdown on alleged corpse funders. And page 2 in 7 hours analysis to that story. And there's one right after that story that says armies reshuffles up top ranks, deploy 67 generals, detain officers, names uncovered. And page 2 in 7 hours the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Still on the Punch newspaper, another story says Bayelsa Deputy Governor sues Assembly over impeachment plots. And page 7 has the detail to that story. Honda records 164% surge in profits after tax. And page 19 has the detail to that story. Party registration, INEC disqualifies state political groups. And page 8 has the detail to that story. COP, 4 others die in Lagos Ibadan expressway crash. And page 4 and 5 has the analysis to that story. Story on the Punch newspaper says over 30 states rely on federal allocation, sales report. And page 21 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
So moving on to the second newspaper, which is the Vanguard newspaper. And the latest story on the Vanguard newspaper this morning says, gives us results, not excuses. Tinubu tells service chiefs. And page 5 has the detail to that story. And there are 2 riders to that story. The first rider says, orders them to smash army group in North Central, Northwest, as security threats constantly evolving. Another rider says, service chiefs consume office, votes to end insecurity. And the last rider says, major shake-up in army. And page 27 has the detail to that stories.
Audio Jungle.
Vanguard newspaper says soldiers promised APGA members meant to flight voters apathy, says state governor. And page 7 has the details to that story. 164% rise in profits, 210 billion naira in 9 months. And page 19 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Soludo promised to help PGA members meant to fight voters apart states government.
Audio Jungle.
History has gone NNDDC. Obi Cool's vision reflects in Niger Delta, says Ayuri M. Mama. And page 12 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Still on Vanguard newspaper, another story says 2025 federal government earns 28.331 trillion naira in 9 months, share 16.446 trillion naira, and page 8 has the detail to that story. And there are two riders to that story. The first rider says spends 10.446 trillion naira to transfer funds orders. Another rider says collect 5.756 trillion naira as allocation, states get 6.749 trillion naira, local governments 4.4 trillion naira. And last rider says revenue collection cost drop 1.52 trillion naira. And page 8 has the detail to that stories.
Audio Jungle.
Defections top loss to impeachment. Bayelsa Deputy Governor begs court. And page 12 has the details to that story. Federal government operator differs on state capacity to regulate electricity market. And page 9 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And the last story on the Vanguard newspaper this morning is about sport, and it says NFF says Charlie remains Super Eagle coach, World Cup or not. And there's one right out to that story that says he has a 2-year contract, says Gasu. And page 2 has the detail to that stories.
Audio Jungle.
And the latest story on the Guardian newspaper this morning says justice on trial as court battle neglect infrastructure deficits. And page 6 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Another story on the Guardian newspaper says Nigerians expect results, not excuses. Tinubu tells service chiefs. And page 3 has the detail to that story. Nigeria shouldn't be among hunger-striking countries, says Obi. And page 3 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
CBN says bank can downgrade license if unable to meet recapitalization threshold. And page 19 has analysis to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Young Pro stands Tavas over corrupt practice. And page 7 has a detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Still on the Guardian newspaper, another story says Ohando record 164% growth as profit is 210 billion naira in 9 months. And page 20 has a detail to that story. Petrol may hit 1,163 naira per litre as federal government targets 4.8 trillion yearly from fresh tariff. And page 6 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
APC gained upper hand in House of Defection reshape power balance. And page 6 has the detail to that story. Federal government unveil national cash voucher policy to strengthen humanitarian response. And page 30 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Anambra Governor Pool, EU partners call for ban on North Statutory Security Group. And page 29 has the detail to that story. Another story on the Guardian newspaper this morning says 8 of 14 new parties scale documentation Odlu, INEC says, and page 7 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
So moving on to the last newspaper on the second segment, which is the Nigerian Tribune. And the latest story on Nigerian Tribune this morning states, Southwest leaders want Tinubu to prioritize regional integration, and page 4 has the detail to that story. Southwest leaders want Tinubu to prioritize regional integration, and there is two rider to that story that says, lament deplorable state of federal roles in region, and the last rider says, push for Yoruba unity, good governance, and page 4 has analysis to that stories. ADA, ASP, 6 others association for next stage of party registration, and page 5 has the detail to that story. Nigerian Tribune says experts warn of tougher times as federal government approves 15% import duty on petrol diesel, and page 11 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Adeleke decries unjust attitude of federal government toward federating state, and there's one right out to that story that says I'm too popular to be afraid, and page 4 has the detail to that story. Another story Nigerian Tribune says 6 dead, 2 trapped in multiple accidents on Kwara Bridge, and there's one right out to that story that says another 5 dies in Ondo crash, and page 31 has analysis to that story. SEC partner CBN EFCC to track freeze illicit digital wallets, and page 12 has analysis to that story. And the next story is about AIDS. It says how to manage prevent stomach cancer, says medical report, and page 3 has the detail to that story. Another story says Bono begins export of plastic material to improve IGR, and page 12 has the analysis to that story. And the last story on Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning says Tinubu to service chiefs. Nigerians expect a result, not excuses. And there's one right out to that story that says major shake-up as army redeploy, appoint top officers. And page 3 and page 30 held analysis to that stories. Alright, so you have come to the end of the second segment. Before we divert into the last segment, let's go on a break. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.
Tony, gbogbo ọ̀yà ni ó mọ̀ pera rẹ̀ lódù. Bó bá jẹ́ níbi tí ká bá ní ra mọ́tò láti òkè òkun tàbí ó fẹ́ ra ojúlówó mọ́tò ilé tí ó já lálòpẹ́, ilé-iṣẹ́ mọ́tò Onabis Automobile òní òye àkànṣí eléyìí tó kalẹ̀ sí kìlómítà 8 Old Ife Road àdójúkọ ilé ìtajà àgbàlódé Brent sọ́ọ̀mì nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. Bóyá ẹ̀yin fẹ́ ra mọ́tò tàbí ẹ fẹ́ gbé mọ́tò ránṣẹ́ láti ilẹ̀ òkèrè sórílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà, kódà orí ọ̀fẹ́ wà láti bá yín ṣe àmójútó, láti bá yín ṣe àyẹ̀wò sí mọ́tò yín. Iléeṣẹ́ Onabis Automobile òun gẹ́gẹ́ ni mò ń pè níyẹn o. Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọn ni 0803 371 0636 0803 371 0636. Onabis Automobile, boom 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 boom.
Fmtv ọkùnrin wa àtobìnrin wa ẹ̀lẹ́ o gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin wa ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ o gbogbo ẹ̀yin obìnrin wa ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ o Fmtv oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ o ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin wa ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ o Fmtv oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ oníkẹ́mọ́ wò lórí Instagram lórí Facebook oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ òjòmọ́ mi ẹ wá wo ìṣẹ́nu ọ̀pálábá ẹ wá wo rẹ̀ ti ṣe láwùjọ òjò gbogbo ìkànnà gbé wá dẹ̀ gbogbo eré ládùn gbogbo tó lóyin tó bá ronú tó pàrònú tí Fmtv oníkọ́mọ́ gbọ́ olólùfẹ́ mi ẹ̀yọ́ rẹ̀ wá ọkọ sọ fún ìyàwó rẹ̀ Fmtv oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ ọjọ́mọ́ mi Fmtv.
The Aces Hotels and Conference Center is one and only event place with a clear difference and tasteful excellence here in the ancient city of Ibadan. For your next and upcoming event, whether marriage engagement, wedding reception, anniversaries, conferences, seminars or birthday, the Aces Hotels and Conference Center is affordable and fully equipped with all imaginable ultra-modern facilities for your total convenience without headache, security, power, environment, parking space, and royal service by their staff. All roads lead to the Aces Hotel and Conference Center today at kilometer 2.5 Ijokodo Akbete Akufo Road, Akere, Ibadan. For booking and more information, call 080-8746-7420, 080-9744-1898, or 080-2869-0012. The Aces Hotels and Conference Center, where comfortability speaks than words.
ìgbà tó tó gbá ní í ṣe baálé ọba gbọ́migbọ́mi kọ̀ǹkọ̀ tó tó kọ̀ǹkọ̀ ní í ṣe ọba wọn lálẹ́ odò bó jẹ́ tìròyìn tó kojú owó orin tó dùn ún gbọ́ létí àṣà ẹ̀fẹ̀ àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí lọ́lọ́kanjọ̀kan ìkànnì MFM rédíò ọba ló jẹ́ láwùjọ rédíò.
Audio Jungle.
Alright, so welcome back to the show. It's still from the newspaper. Don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at him 97.3 FM. And as watching us, please do well to like, comment, and share. Don't forget to announce the last segment of from the newspaper this morning, which is the details to the headlines. And the first bringing on states, INEC disqualified 6 more political groups. 8 political associations have completed the initial stage of state political party registration process. While states were disqualified, the Independent National Electoral Commission said on Thursday. The National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, confirmed this development in a statement. The Commission held its regular meeting on 30th October 2025 to review progress since an earlier update on 11th September. 14th Association has been pre-qualified to participate in the process, which began with a briefing on September 17. The Commission further stated that the next step involved a detailed verification of the submitted documents to determine compliance with the 1999 Constitution as amended, the Electoral House 2022 as INEC regulations for political parties. Other story says U.S. Defense Soyinka's visa revocation. The United States Embassy in Lagos has stated that visas granted by the country to foreign nationals are based on privilege, not a right. The U.S. consulate in Lagos made this clarification on Thursday in response to an inquiry from the Punch regarding the revocation of the visas of Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka. In an email response to our Punch correspondent on Thursday, the consulate noted that it could not disclose the details to the particular visas for confidential reasons. Soyinka has during the media preview On Tuesday, in Lagos announced the revocation of his B1 B2 visas by the U.S. Embassy. The 91-year-old world-acclaimed writer told the journalists at Kongi's Harvest Freedom Park that he should not be expected in the U.S. by anymore, as he currently has no visas. Shinkawi, a staunch critic of the U.S. President Donald Trump, stressed that he did not know the basis of the revocation of his visas. While responding over the revocation of his visa, the renowned writer said he could not recall any offense committed by him that could have warranted the decision to revoke his visa. Best known as a playwright, Soyinka won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1986. He has lived abroad, primarily in the U.S., for a long time, where he had a professorship at several universities according to the Nobel Prize. Soyinka's visa revocation has sparked fresh conversation about recent steps taken by the U.S. called migrants influence into the country, especially from Africa. Aiyedatiwa presents SUVs to Ondo traditional rulers. Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa on Thursday in Akure, the state capital, presented the brand new Toyota SUVs traditional rulers across the state, describing it as an effort to protect the advanced welfare of traditional institutions. Aiyedatiwa stated that the gesture was to make a historic milestone in the collective journey toward the progress and elevation of every traditional kinship stood to an enviable height. He appreciated the traditional rulers in which the state for the tremendous support according to the administration in maintaining peace and security in their various domains. He therefore solicited that the continued support of the traditional leaders, assuring them of government's commitment to continue to prioritize their welfare. Also speaking, the State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Alhaji Hamidu Takuru, said the gesture was to appreciate the recognition of the invaluable role of the traditional institution to the government. Takuru noted that the traditional rulers has continued to ensure promotion of peace, unity, and community development across the state. He thanked the governor for fulfilling his promise of better welfare to the traditional rulers. The commissioner urged the traditional rulers to make good use of vehicle. In his appreciation, Oloworo of Owo, Oba Ajibade Ogunoye, said the gesture was quite befitting. Oba Ogunoye, who is the state chairman council of Obas, stated that the governor has already been a surprise to the traditional rulers in the good deeds. He promised that traditional rulers will continue to partner in progress with the government. Federal government begin disbursement of tertiary institution staff support fund. The federal government has commenced the disbursement of funds under the tertiary institution staff support fund designed to strengthen the welfare, staff welfare, institutional productivity, and innovation across Nigeria tertiary education system. This is contained in a statement made in Abuja on Thursday by the Director Press and Public Relations Federal Minister of Education, Mrs. Folashade Boriowo. Boriowo, while quoting the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, on the milestone, said the welfare was an initiative of President Bola Tinubu's Renew Hope agenda. Alausa said the program has transitioned from the planning to full implementation with more than 9,000 staff of tertiary institutions receiving payments in the first year. This is said represented 28% of 33,000 verified applicants drawn by 219 federal and state tertiary institutions across the federation. Luster said that the first phase of disbursement covered the both academic and non-academic personnel in 30 ratio 70, reflecting the government's inclusive approach to supporting all categories of staff in the nation's higher education institution. He affirmed the Minister dedication to transparency, pleading quarterly financial reporting, institution engagement, and robust monitoring mechanism to ensure that all funds were effectively utilized and repaid to expand access of more beneficiaries in the future. The News Agency of Nigeria reported that the initiative launched in August 2025, following a high-level stakeholders engagement in July, is a key component of the federal government's Nigeria education sector renewal initiative. It is designed to enhance moral performance and institutional excellence within the tertiary education sector. Under the scheme, eligible staff can access up to 10 million in continental zone interest loans to tackle essential livelihood and productivity needs, including housing, healthcare, education, transportation, and all small business ventures. Punch online on August 15, 2025 that the federal government launching the TSSF, a landmark welfare to empowerment initiative for academic and non-academic staff in Nigeria's tertiary institution. Minister of Education Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa described the fund as a direct response to the welfare and professional growth needs to the nation's tertiary institution workforce.
Audio Jungle.
EFCC NFIU launched crackdown on alleged corpse funder. Military investigators probing the alleged attempt. COP are working with the Economic and Financial Crime Commission and the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit to unveil the financial flux linked to the individual accused of bankrolling the plot. The Punch has lens. This was an indication about the bank accounts of some of the suspects might have been frozen by the authorities as part of the probe procedures. The Punch could not immediately confirm the developments as no one was willing to comment on it, but the security officials described this as a standard procedure in such cases. However, multiple security sources familiar with the probe confirmed that the EFCC and NFIU are carrying out the forensic investigation on the bank account of the soldiers and civilians involved in the plot to overthrow the federal government. The forensic investigation will cover transaction analysis, including reviewing deposit withdrawals and transfer to the identified suspicious partners, tackling of account activities over time, identifying the originer of funds, and detaining the sole owners of the accounts under probe. The investigation is also said to have been widened to cover the associates and business partners of the key suspects. The development is coming to an heel of the discovery of the alleged transfer of 45 billion naira from the Niger Delta Development Commission to those involved in the plots. Sarah reported that he has reported that 16 Nigerian army officers were arrested for allegedly planning to cop the overthrown President Bola Tinubu. The online platform linking the proposal of plot of the federal government cancellation of the Nigerian 65th independence celebration. The director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukar Ugasu, denied that the detention of the officer was tied up to the cop attempt. Nevertheless, security operative raided the Abuja home of former Bayelsa State Governor, taking away his younger brother, Paga driver, as the investigation gained momentum. The former minister of All Progressive Congress chieftain was reportedly outside the country at the time. On Wednesday, civil spokesperson Chief Julius Boroku confirmed that his principal residence were raided, adding that the ex-minister and his wife were out of the country at that time. Sumon's local government boss, councillors over suspension. The Ogun State government has summoned the embattled chairman of Adodo Ota local government, Alhaji Wasiu Adewale, and the councillor who suspended him to the emergency meeting today. The invitation followed by the reported suspension of the chairman by the Legislative Council for 3 months over alleged financial misappropriation, insubordination, and disregard of constituted authority. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftains Affairs, Dr. Rosi Miolu Akinlesi, confirmed the development in an interview with the Punch Online on Thursday. During the Thursday plenary, Musidik Asalu, representing Ottawa 2, moved a motion citing President acting of negligence, insubordination, and financial misconduct by the local government chairman. Asalu alleged that over the past few months, the councillors have on the list 4 occasions officially requested from the chairman a detailed account to income and expenditure of the local government in the line with the Section 52 of the Part V of the Ogun State Local Government Law 2000 as amended. According to the resolution, Adewale is to hand over all government properties in his possession to the head of the local government administration and is borrowed from the assessing council account or representing the local government in any official capacity during the suspension. The council also directed the vice chairman, Abose Balogun, to assume office as the acting chairman as discharge all responsibilities in accordance with the law. However, on Thursday, the chairman of described of suspension as a fake when the Punch Online contacted him. Efforts by Punch Online to reach the suspended chairman of today for comments were unsuccessful as call of his mobile phone did not answered. Story on the show this morning says police rescue 23 abducted foreigners, arrest 14 suspects in Nasarawa. The Federal Capital Territory Police Commanders rescued 23 foreign nationals for captivity and arrest 14 suspect kidnappers in Nasarawa State. In a statement today, the FCT Police Public Relations Officer SP Josephine Ade said the operation was conducted around 8 p.m. on Tuesday, October 20, 2025, by the operative of the Command Scorpion Squad at Angwan Adam Muruga Falani, Zone B, Riverside of Adam Maraba, Nasarawa State. Parliamentary investigation revealed that the syndicate was coordinated by one Abubakar Jigabi, a traditional criminal kingpin who is known as the residents in Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Mali, and Niger, while his younger brother, Sogru Zombe, handled recruitment, kidnapping, the smuggling of victims from Mali into Nigeria. According to the police, the 23 victims